Yeah, that was me, too. Was running my financial planning practice, had, I think, about 20 people working for me. I was getting a lot of pressure from Ameriprise. I was promoting a different way of doing business. At that time, it was still very much a commission-based business. I wanted to make mine a fee for services. They didn't like that. I tried to recruit their recruits to become my assistants and work with me and grow into my business. They didn't like that. That was basically taking middle management out of the equation. So I had a lot of pressure on me, and I was making good money. And I got a comment on one of my videos, the video where I spoke about how 23-year-olds can become multimillionaires just by dedicating themselves to a lifestyle and saving money and learning how to invest that money. And one of you responded by saying, I think you said you were 43 years old, you had accumulated $1.2 million, and you just weren't happy, and you weren't enjoying what you're doing, and asking me what you should do. I responded with, my life story and shared that the other thing that the picture doesn't show is I was seeking out the best brand of bourbon at the same time. So my life was going wonderful, but I was about 9 months away from a heart attack. So I started doing some things to slow things down. But about 3 years later, in 2005, the pressure just got to where that heart attack was 30 days away, and I walked away. And I think that's the message I want to deliver here today, that there's a lot more to life than a career. I wrote the book, Who Are You and Why Are You You? And I think it's one of the best things I've ever done. After I retired, Nita and I traveled a lot. I cut my own grass. And that sounds like a interesting reflection, I guess, but I can remember riding around on my lawnmower and thinking, why did this happen? Why did I achieve this such level of success? And I had repetitively achieved success with different companies that I was in. Ever since I graduated from college, I rose to the top. I basically succeeded in pissing my management off and then moving on to a better opportunity. And it just happened over and over and over again. I was told at one point, well, Kerry, you're not a good employee. You're a better entrepreneur. But as it was, I did get out of working for companies, and then I found myself, the company I was running was in the home improvement business in, I guess it was about 1989, and the S&L crisis occurred, and I needed to find another profession because I was making over $100,000 a year. And I went to the library and got a money magazine, and in that money magazine it said the highest paid professions were those of doctors, lawyers, and financial advisors. Well, I knew that I didn't have time to become a doctor or a lawyer, so I needed to become a financial advisor. So I went and interviewed with a number of financial planning firms and insurance companies, and I landed at a company by the name of IDS. IDS turned into American Express Financial Advisors, and now is Ameriprise. I went up the ranks basically because I recognized I had to set myself apart from every other financial advisor. And to that end, I got that certificate, that is the CFP, a very extensive, a certified financial advisor. Then I got that certificate, and that is a CHFC, a chartered financial analyst, CHFC, and then this, a CLU, a chartered life underwriter. I did it basically to separate myself from the masses. But then, as I said, I changed the way I was doing business. I started growing rapidly. I went from a non-existent advisor amongst 10,000 within the Ameriprise system to number one. I did it through mergers and acquisitions. I learned how to grow a business. And then, as I said, I changed the way I was doing business, fell out of favor with Ameriprise because I was taking the income away from middle management and recruiting other people to my way of doing business. So long and short, I got to that point that this 43-year-old was mentioning that he had everything he wanted, but he didn't have anything he wanted. So my advice is do what I did after I figured out who am I and why am I me. I asked myself, what is my passion? What is it I like to do? And I realized that when I reached that plateau of success and I started pissing off management, I went to my basement and started some form of art. It started with photography. I became a very accomplished photographer. I took a lot of nude pictures of my wife. I took a lot of pictures of people, and I did a lot of creative things with them. Didn't sell anything, just enjoyed the creating process. I also had, prior to that, been involved in painting. You may have seen in some of my other videos where I share that I became an artist. I wanted Picassos, so I painted them. I wanted Salvador Dali's, so I painted them. I wanted any and everybody, Van Goghs, so I painted them. And then I started seeing paintings that I liked, and I'd take a picture of it and I'd paint it. Then I got into writing. I wrote a children's book. I wrote several other books. And what I realized was what I really liked to do was create. I liked to take an empty canvas and put something on it, whether it was in the form of a book or a photograph or art or YouTube. And so I would ask you, when you aren't doing your job, when you aren't working, what do you do? What do you enjoy doing? And once you find that, try to determine if that, in fact, is your passion. What you really love to do. And then start exploring. Go to Google and figure out how to monetize it. How to monetize your passion. Was I ever going to be a highly paid artist? No. I just had a skill of copying other people's art. Was I ever going to be a published author? Well, I am. But was I ever going to make millions off of it? No. No. I might have if I pursued it, if I really got into it. But I found something where I could share my knowledge, where I could share my experiences, where I could go and get the recognition that I wanted. I think that's really what was behind the painting. I did it because I enjoyed it, but I wanted to be recognized for something. I was a very poor student. I only got out of high school with a C average because I was a good football player. My English teacher at one point told me, as a senior in high school, you don't worry about your English grade. You worry about Friday nights and if we're going to win that game. When I went to college, again, I basically struggled. I only made it through my freshman year because the football coach said, we're just not going to play you as a football player. So you go and do your studies, and I'll give you an A for the first 2 quarters of the year. And that carried me through. So I adapted. And that's what I've learned in my life is I'm handicapped. I'm dyslexic. I can't read. My mind does not process a 3-syllable word. You'll see in these videos quite often I'll mispronounce names of companies that are constructed of a 3-syllable word. I can't process it. But what I did and what I was successful in doing was adapting. And in that adaptation, I discovered my passion. I'm a creator. And the digital revolution worked right up my alley. It gave me a means of creating that I can get up every day. Someone asked me the other day over on my YouTube investment channel, how are you able to make a video every day? I've done it now since, I guess it was November the 11th, 2019. Every day I have made at least one video. I have a passion. I love to do it. I love to learn about the stock market. I love to read about it and then take that knowledge that I've acquired and make myself wealthy as an investor. And at the same time, then share that information with other people who strive to make wealth in the stock market. That gives me gratification. That gives me value. That makes me feel that I have a purpose and that I'm helping people and that I'm loved. And that's what it all comes down to. I lost my mother when I was 8 years old. I had some bad experiences wrapped around it. Like young kids who lose their parents think it was their fault, that their mother didn't love them. Well, I've overcome that. I figured out why Carrie is Carrie and what Carrie can be if he focuses on his passion and then he pursues that passion for the betterment of other people. So, if you're in a wonderful place financially in your world, but a terrible place mentally, I'd first say go into the description and find this book, and it's on Amazon. It's if you don't want to do that, Find Happiness by Discovering Who You Are and Why You Are You by Carrie Grinkmeyer. Do that, and then become relentless, and I mean that. Become relentless in pursuing your passion. And you will find a way to monetize it. And you will achieve what you want to achieve. And you may do it even quicker than I did. And you'll achieve an early retirement. And once you get into an early retirement with financial independence, the world is yours. It's your cherry to pluck as you wish, to eat as much as you want. It's your world. But you've got to first get rid of that unwanted roommate in your head that says, you can't do that. You're not worthy. That's not what most people do. I remember that all the way back into grammar school. I can't ask her out. She's too pretty. Everybody will laugh at me. That's that unwanted roommate. Has been there since the beginning. I got rid of him. I now have a coach. And that coach tells me, the world is your oyster. Just crack it open and go after it. Okay. That's my inspiration for the day. And I guess what I want to do is just share. I've been there. I've been there where I just thought I couldn't get out. But I knew if I stayed, I was going to kill myself, one way or the other. Okay. If this helps you, subscribe. Give me your comments. Again, this video is a product of one of your comments. You caused me to go back in my life and think about how I got to where I am today. My only regret was, or is, that I didn't figure this out sooner. I do think I'll live to be 100 because of my NMN. God, I have so much energy. Talk to you again soon.